Life has a way of weighing us down. We carry the burdens of the past, the disappointments, the missed opportunities, and all the things we think we should have done differently. We hold on to these things as if they define us. But today I want to tell you something. It's time to let it go. Releasing the weight of the past is not about forgetting or ignoring what has happened. It's about acknowledging the impact those experiences have had on you and deciding that they will no longer dictate your present or your future. Many of us carry the emotional baggage of past mistakes, regrets, and disappointments. We replay conversations in our minds, we relive moments we wish we could change, and we let these memories shape our self-perception. This weight becomes a part of us, but it doesn't have to be. It's important to understand that while the past has influenced who you are, it does not have to determine who you will become. The weight of the past can show up in various forms: grief, guilt, resentment, or even nostalgia for a time when things were different. It can be as subtle as a nagging thought that pops up when you're about to try something new, reminding you of the times you failed before. Or it can be as heavy as a constant sense of sadness that lingers in the background of your life. We might not even realize how much of this weight we're carrying until it manifests as stress, anxiety, or even physical pain. Our minds and bodies are interconnected, and holding on to the past can have a profound impact on both. Often we hold on to this weight because we feel a sense of identity in it. We've told ourselves these stories for so long, stories of who we are based on our past experiences, that they become a part of our self-concept. If you've always seen yourself as someone who was wronged, or as someone who has made too many mistakes to be worthy of happiness, you might carry that with you into every new experience. It becomes a lens through which you see the world, a filter that colors every thought and decision. But ask yourself, is this identity truly serving you? Is it allowing you to move forward, or is it keeping you stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and limitation? Letting go of the past requires courage. It requires you to face those moments that have hurt you, to feel the emotions you may have buried deep down. It's not about dismissing those feelings or pretending they don't exist. It's about allowing yourself to process them, to understand how they have shaped your beliefs and behaviors. This process can be uncomfortable, even painful, but it is necessary for healing. It's like cleaning out a wound so that it can heal properly. You can't just cover it up and hope it goes away. You have to address it directly. Releasing the past also involves recognizing that holding on to it is a choice. We often feel like we have no control over these memories and emotions, but in reality, we are the ones who continue to give them power over us. We revisit them again and again, like picking at a scab, not realizing that this keeps the wound from healing. It's a subconscious pattern that we fall into, sometimes because we think we need to hold on to these experiences to learn from them. But there is a difference between learning from the past and living in it. Learning involves taking the lesson and moving forward, while living in it means you are stuck, unable to fully embrace the present. Another reason we hold on to the past is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of what might happen if we let go of the familiar pain, even if that pain is detrimental. It becomes a strange comfort zone. You know this feeling, you know this story, and stepping outside of it means facing a world where you don't know what's next. But what if, by releasing this weight, you open up to a world of new possibilities? What if letting go is not about losing a part of yourself, but about finding a part of yourself that has been hidden under layers of old stories and outdated beliefs? The past can be like a shadow that follows you everywhere, especially if you don't confront it. But remember, a shadow only exists when there is light. You are the light, and you have the power to shine so brightly that the shadow no longer holds you back. To release the past, you must first bring it into the light of your awareness. Acknowledge what happened. Accept that it affected you. And then consciously decide that it does not define you. This is not an overnight process. It takes time and patience. But every step you take toward releasing that weight is a step toward freedom. Sometimes the weight of the past is tied to people who have hurt us or situations where we felt powerless. We might be holding on to anger, resentment, or a desire for justice. These emotions are valid, but they are also heavy. Carrying them around only keeps you chained to those past events and those people. Letting go is not about condoning what happened or excusing the behavior of others. It's about choosing to free yourself from their influence. It's about saying, I will not let what you did continue to affect my peace of mind and my happiness. It's also important to understand that releasing the past doesn't mean you won't think about it from time to time. There may be moments when those memories resurface, and that's okay. Let them come and go like passing clouds. You don't have to engage with them or let them pull you back into old patterns. Acknowledge them and then gently redirect your focus to the present. Over time, as you practice this, you'll find that those thoughts become less frequent and less intense. You'll begin to feel lighter, more at ease, and more connected to the present moment. One of the most powerful ways to release the past is through self-compassion. Often the hardest person to forgive is ourselves. We beat ourselves up for not knowing better, for making mistakes, or for not being stronger. But every experience, no matter how difficult, has brought you to where you are today. You did the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had at the time. Holding on to self-blame only perpetuates the cycle of pain. Instead, offer yourself kindness and understanding. Speak to yourself the way you would to a dear friend who is struggling. You deserve that same level of compassion. Releasing the past is not about erasing it from your memory. It's about changing the way it lives within you. Instead of being a source of pain and regret, let it become a source of wisdom and strength. Let it be the foundation upon which you build a new, empowered version of yourself. You can honor the past without letting it control you. You can acknowledge what you've been through and use it as a stepping stone to a brighter future. By releasing the weight of the past, you create space within yourself, space for joy, for growth, and for new experiences that align with the person you are becoming. Releasing the past is an act of self-love. It's choosing to prioritize your well-being over the comfort of familiar pain. It's a declaration that you are worthy of peace, happiness, and freedom. You don't have to carry the weight any longer. You have the power to put it down, to take a deep breath, and to step forward into the life that is waiting for you. Shifting your perspective is about changing the way you view the world around you and the experiences you go through. Often we get stuck in a certain mindset, a fixed way of thinking that limits our ability to see new possibilities. This fixed mindset is like wearing a pair of glasses with a particular lens. If those lenses are tinted with negativity, fear, or self-doubt, then that is how you will see every situation you encounter. But imagine what could happen if you changed those lenses, if you shifted your perspective to see things in a new light. This simple act can transform your entire reality. We have been conditioned to see things in a certain way, largely shaped by our upbringing, our culture, and our past experiences. When something negative happens, our automatic response might be to see it as a setback, a failure, or a confirmation of our worst fears. This perspective can trap us in a cycle of negative thinking, where every challenge feels like a brick wall, and every mistake feels like a personal flaw. But the truth is, these experiences are often just life's way of guiding us, teaching us, and helping us grow. If you can shift your perspective from seeing these events as obstacles to viewing them as opportunities for growth, you begin to reclaim your power. Changing your perspective doesn't mean denying reality or ignoring the difficulties in life. It means choosing to see beyond the immediate pain or discomfort and asking yourself, what can I learn from this? Or how can this serve me in the long run? When you start asking these questions, you shift from a victim mindset to a victor mindset, You begin to see yourself not as someone who is at the mercy of circumstances, but as someone who can navigate through them with wisdom and resilience. This change in perspective opens up a world of possibilities that you might not have seen before. One of the key aspects of shifting your perspective is recognizing that your thoughts are not facts. Just because you think something doesn't make it true. Our minds have a way of distorting reality, especially when we are under stress or facing uncertainty. We might jump to conclusions, make assumptions, or focus solely on the negatives while ignoring the positives. By becoming aware of these mental patterns, you give yourself the opportunity to question them and choose a different way of thinking. Instead of saying, "This is the end," you can choose to say, "This is a new beginning." Perspective is also closely tied to gratitude. When you focus on what you lack or what's going wrong, you can easily become overwhelmed by a sense of scarcity and limitation. However, when you shift your perspective to notice what you do have, what is going right, and the small blessings in your life, you begin to cultivate a mindset of abundance. This doesn't mean that you ignore your challenges, it means that you don't let them overshadow the good that exists. By practicing gratitude, you train your mind to see the silver linings, even in difficult situations. Another powerful way to shift your perspective is by changing the questions you ask yourself. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What is this teaching me, or how can I grow from this?" These questions open up your mind to new possibilities and allow you to see challenges as stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. They shift your focus from what's wrong to what can be right. This small change in how you frame your situation can lead to a profound shift in how you experience it. Perspective shifts can also come from exposing yourself to new viewpoints and experiences. When you engage with people who have different backgrounds, beliefs, or ways of life, you expand your understanding of the world. You begin to realize that there isn't just one way to look at things, there are countless perspectives, each offering its own insights and lessons. This openness to different viewpoints helps you become more adaptable and less rigid in your thinking. It allows you to approach life with curiosity rather than judgment, making you more resilient in the face of change. Often, our perspective is limited by our own fears and insecurities. We might see a new opportunity as risky or a challenge as impossible because we are afraid of failure or rejection. However, if you can shift your perspective to see fear as a natural part of the growth process, it loses its power over you. Instead of seeing fear as a stop sign, you can choose to see it as a signal that you are stepping out of your comfort zone and into a place where real change happens. By embracing this new perspective, you allow yourself to take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them without being paralyzed by fear. Shifting your perspective also involves letting go of the need to control everything. When you believe that you must have all the answers or that everything must go according to plan, you set yourself up for disappointment. Life is unpredictable, and things don't always turn out the way we expect. But by shifting your perspective to one of acceptance and trust, you can navigate through uncertainty with more grace. Instead of seeing the unknown as something to fear, you can view it as a space of endless possibilities. This mindset shift helps you stay open to new opportunities and allows life to surprise you in ways you never imagined. Sometimes shifting your perspective requires a conscious effort to focus on the present moment. Our minds tend to wander to the past, replaying old hurts, or to the future, worrying about what might happen. This robs us of the peace and clarity that come from being fully present. By shifting your perspective to the here and now, you can ground yourself in reality and respond to life's challenges with a calm and focused mind. This doesn't mean that you ignore your past or future, but that you don't let them dominate your thoughts. In the present moment, you have the power to choose how you will respond. And that choice can transform your experience. Shifting your perspective also means recognizing that setbacks are not failures. They are simply redirections guiding you toward a different path, one that you might not have considered before. When you view setbacks in this light, they become less daunting and more manageable. You begin to see them as part of the journey rather than as the end of the road. This perspective shift can be incredibly empowering as it helps you stay motivated and resilient, even when things don't go as planned. At its core, shifting your perspective is about reclaiming your power. It's about realizing that while you cannot always control what happens to you, you can control how you choose to see it and how you respond. This realization is liberating because it puts you back in the driver's seat of your life. Instead of being a passive observer of your circumstances, you become an active participant, shaping your reality through the lens you choose to look through. Embracing forgiveness is one of the most liberating acts you can undertake in your journey toward inner peace. It's about releasing the heavy burden of resentment, anger, and pain that you've been carrying. When you hold on to a grudge or a sense of betrayal, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. This bitterness affects your emotional, mental, and even physical well-being. Forgiveness is not about condoning the actions of others or pretending that the hurt never happened. It is about choosing to free yourself from the chains of the past, to no longer be defined by what happened to you. It's a conscious decision to let go of the pain, to set yourself free from the emotional prison that you may have been living in for so long. Forgiveness starts within. Before you can truly forgive others, you often need to forgive yourself. Many of us carry around guilt and shame for mistakes we've made or for the things we wish we had done differently. This self-blame can become a toxic narrative that plays on repeat in our minds, preventing us from moving forward. Embracing forgiveness means being compassionate with yourself, recognizing that you are human and that imperfection is a part of the human experience. It involves looking at your past actions with a gentle eye, understanding that you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. When you can forgive yourself, you open up a space within your heart to also forgive others. Forgiving others does not mean you forget what happened. It doesn't mean you excuse harmful behavior or allow yourself to be mistreated again. Forgiveness is about choosing to release the hold that the past has on you. It's about saying, I will not let this hurt dictate my life anymore. When you forgive, you reclaim your power. You stop allowing someone else's actions to control your emotions and dictate your mood. This doesn't happen overnight. Forgiveness is a process, a journey that may require revisiting old wounds and processing deep-seated emotions. But each step you take toward forgiveness is a step toward your own freedom and healing. One of the most profound aspects of forgiveness is the realization that holding on to anger or resentment only hurts you. The person who wronged you may have moved on, may not even be aware of the depth of your pain. Meanwhile, you are the one who is suffering. The anger festers inside, affecting your mental clarity, your relationships, and your ability to find joy. By choosing to forgive, you are not letting them off the hook, you are letting yourself off the hook. You are giving yourself permission to move beyond the pain, to find peace and joy again. It's an act of self-love, a declaration that you deserve to live a life unburdened by the weight of past hurts. Forgiveness also requires a shift in perspective. It involves seeing the person who hurt you as a flawed human being, just like you. This doesn't mean you excuse their behavior, but it does mean you try to understand it. Perhaps they were acting out of their own pain, fear, or ignorance. When you can see their actions through the lens of compassion, it becomes easier to release the grip of anger. This doesn't mean you have to reconcile with them or invite them back into your life. Forgiveness can be a private, internal act that allows you to let go of the negative emotions that have been holding you back. Embracing forgiveness is not about being weak. It's about being strong enough to recognize that holding on to anger is not serving you. It takes tremendous courage to face the pain, to confront the emotions that you have buried deep inside. It takes strength to say, I choose to let go, not because what happened was okay, but because I deserve peace. This kind of strength is transformative. It changes how you see yourself and the world around you. It opens your heart to new possibilities, new relationships, and a deeper sense of inner peace. Forgiveness can be seen as a practice rather than a one-time event. It is something you may need to do repeatedly, especially when memories resurface or when triggers remind you of the pain. Each time you choose to forgive, you strengthen that muscle. You build resilience, the ability to rise above your circumstances and not be defined by them. You become more attuned to your inner self, more in control of your emotional state. Over time, you may find that the pain has less power over you, that it no longer consumes your thoughts or dictates your actions. One of the misconceptions about forgiveness is that it requires the other person to apologize or make amends. In reality, forgiveness is an internal process that doesn't depend on anyone else. It's about what you choose to do with your feelings. You have the power to forgive, even if the other person is not sorry, even if they never acknowledge the hurt they caused. This is what makes forgiveness so powerful. It is entirely within your control. It is an act of self-empowerment, a way of saying, I will not let someone else's actions determine my happiness. Forgiveness also opens the door to healing. When you hold on to anger and resentment, it's like keeping a wound open and exposed. It cannot heal because you are constantly picking at it. By choosing to forgive, you begin to close that wound. You allow the healing process to take place. This doesn't mean the scar will disappear. The memory of what happened may always be there, but it will no longer be a source of pain. Instead, it becomes a part of your story, a chapter in your life that has shaped you but does not define you. It is a testament to your strength and your capacity to overcome. In many ways, forgiveness is an act of self-care. It is about taking care of your mental and emotional health by releasing the toxic emotions that weigh you down. It's about prioritizing your well-being over the need to be right or the need to hold onto the past. When you forgive, you create space for more positive emotions, love, joy, peace to enter your life. You make room for new experiences and new people who will treat you with the respect and kindness you deserve. You allow yourself to live fully in the present, unencumbered by the chains of past grievances. Forgiving someone does not mean you have to rebuild the relationship. Sometimes the healthiest choice is to forgive from a distance, to release the anger and move on without reconnecting. Forgiveness is for you, not for them. It's about freeing yourself, not about fixing what is broken. There are times when relationships can be mended, but that is a separate process from forgiveness. Forgiveness is the internal work that allows you to find peace, regardless of what the other person does or does not do. When you embrace forgiveness, you also become a source of light for others. Your ability to forgive can inspire those around you to do the same. It creates a ripple effect, spreading peace and healing beyond just your own life. People begin to see that holding on to anger is not the only option, that there is another way to live, one that is rooted in compassion, understanding, and grace. Your example can encourage others to look within, to confront their own pain, and to take the courageous step toward forgiveness in their own lives. Practicing self-compassion is about treating yourself with the same kindness, care, and understanding that you would offer to a close friend. So often we are our harshest critics, quick to judge ourselves for our mistakes and shortcomings. This inner critic can be relentless, constantly reminding us of where we fall short, where we failed, or how we should be better. Self-compassion, however, calls us to pause and shift our perspective. It asks us to recognize our humanity, to accept that we are imperfect beings doing the best we can in any given moment. It invites us to replace self-judgment with self-acceptance, to see ourselves not through the lens of criticism, but through the eyes of compassion. When you practice self-compassion, you allow yourself to be human. You acknowledge that making mistakes is a natural part of life, not a reflection of your worth or capabilities. Think about how you respond when a friend comes to you feeling down or frustrated with themselves. You don't berate them or make them feel worse. Instead, you listen, you empathize, and you offer words of encouragement. Now imagine turning that same level of kindness toward yourself. It may feel unfamiliar or even uncomfortable at first because many of us have been conditioned to believe that being hard on ourselves is the key to self-improvement. But the truth is, berating yourself only leads to more stress and a diminished sense of self-worth. Self-compassion involves being mindful of your thoughts and feelings without getting overwhelmed by them. When you experience pain, failure, or disappointment, it's easy to spiral into negative self-talk. But self-compassion teaches you to observe these emotions without judgment. It's about saying to yourself, yes, this is a difficult moment. Yes, I feel hurt. And that's okay. By acknowledging your suffering without amplifying it, you create a space for healing and growth. You stop running away from your feelings or pushing them aside. Instead, you meet them with a gentle awareness, allowing yourself to process and move through them in a healthy way. One of the key elements of self-compassion is understanding that suffering and personal inadequacy are part of the shared human experience. It's easy to believe that you are the only one struggling, that everyone else has it all figured out while you're stumbling through life. But this perception is far from the truth. Every person you encounter has their own battles, their own moments of doubt and failure. By recognizing this common humanity, you can start to see your struggles in a different light. You realize that you are not alone, that imperfection is something we all share. This awareness can be incredibly freeing because it removes the sense of isolation that often accompanies self-criticism. When you practice self-compassion, you also give yourself permission to be vulnerable. In a world that often values strength and perfection, vulnerability can feel like a weakness. But embracing vulnerability is a powerful act of courage. It means acknowledging your feelings, your fears, and your insecurities without shame. It means accepting that it's okay not to have all the answers, that it's okay to need help. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you open the door to deeper self-understanding and connection. You become more in tune with your needs, and you can begin to care for yourself in ways that truly support your well-being. Self-compassion doesn't mean letting yourself off the hook or avoiding personal responsibility. It's not about ignoring your mistakes or pretending that everything is fine when it isn't. Rather, it's about holding yourself accountable in a way that is kind and constructive. When you make a mistake, self-compassion encourages you to acknowledge it, learn from it, and move forward without dwelling on it in a punitive manner. This approach fosters a growth mindset, allowing you to see setbacks as opportunities for learning and development rather than as definitive judgments on your character or abilities. By practicing self-compassion, you create an internal environment that is nurturing and supportive. You become a source of encouragement for yourself rather than a source of criticism. This internal support system can be incredibly empowering. It enables you to face challenges with a greater sense of resilience because you know that, regardless of the outcome, you will treat yourself with kindness. You become less afraid of failure because you no longer equate your worth with your achievements. Instead, you begin to understand that your value is inherent, that it does not depend on external success or validation. Self-compassion also plays a crucial role in managing stress and anxiety. When you are compassionate toward yourself, you reduce the pressure to be perfect. You stop setting unrealistic expectations that only set you up for disappointment. Instead, you approach your goals with a sense of balance and self-care. You give yourself permission to take breaks, to rest when you need to, and to say no when something doesn't serve your well-being. This compassionate approach helps you maintain a healthier relationship with yourself, one that is rooted in self-respect and self-love. In relationships, self-compassion can have a transformative effect. When you are kind to yourself, you are more likely to extend that kindness to others. You become more patient, more understanding, and more empathetic because you understand the importance of these qualities in your own life. Moreover, practicing self-compassion can help you set healthy boundaries. When you value and care for yourself, you are less likely to tolerate behaviors that are harmful or disrespectful. You start to prioritize your needs not out of selfishness, but out of a genuine desire to nurture your well-being. Self-compassion also encourages you to embrace self-care as an essential practice rather than a luxury. It's not just about indulging in treats or taking a day off, it's about making daily choices that support your physical, emotional, and mental health. It's about listening to your body, respecting your limits, and being attuned to what you need in each moment. Self-care might mean seeking support when you're feeling overwhelmed, setting boundaries to protect your energy, or simply giving yourself permission to rest without guilt. When you practice self-compassion, self-care becomes a natural extension of how you live your life. One of the most significant shifts that self-compassion brings is a change in your self-talk. The voice inside your head becomes more gentle, more encouraging. Instead of saying, "I'm such a failure," you begin to say, "I'm doing the best I can, and that's enough." Instead of criticizing yourself for not being perfect, you start to celebrate the effort you're putting in, regardless of the outcome. This positive self-talk reinforces a healthier, more positive self-image. It helps you build a sense of inner safety and security, knowing that you will be there for yourself, no matter what. Finally, practicing self-compassion is an ongoing journey. It's not about reaching a state of constant bliss or being free from all self-criticism. There will be moments when the inner critic rears its head, when doubt and self-judgment creep back in. But each time you practice self-compassion, you strengthen your ability to meet these moments with kindness. You learn to return to a place of self-care and understanding more quickly. Over time, self-compassion becomes a way of life, a lens through which you view yourself and the world around you. It transforms not only how you treat yourself, but also how you navigate life's challenges and interact with others. The journey of letting go is a profound act of self-liberation. By releasing the weight of the past, you free yourself from the chains that hold you back and make space for new growth. Shifting your perspective opens your mind to new possibilities, transforming challenges into opportunities for personal development. Embracing forgiveness allows you to unburden your heart, cutting ties with resentment and finding peace within yourself. Practicing self-compassion is the ultimate act of self-care, reminding you that you deserve kindness and understanding just as you are. As you let go of what no longer serves you, you restore your energy and align yourself with a life filled with clarity, purpose, and joy. In this transformation, you become a beacon of light for yourself and others, embracing each day with renewed strength and a spirit ready to thrive.